6.1, you're trying to construct a confidence interval. And there's a problem in the book, and what we're going to do right now on the calculator is virtually almost all of section 6.1 just in one step on the calculator. But what you do is, this problem was about number of friends that were on the internet that were looking at people's websites, and they had added friends and sent messages to the users, and this is the sample that they got of people who actually would use the website. So anyway, these are the numbers, and there are 40 of them, and that's important because if you ever have 30 or more data points, then you already have a number that is I was looking at something here. I made a mistake right here. I should have had a 105 there because I don't want to put the wrong thing and then some of you type it in. But anyway, what you're looking for here is you want to have a sample that is 30 or more of data points, because then that's called a large sample, and this is easy to do. So you're going to put these numbers in L1 under the stat key, and I'm going to look at one variable stats, and I'll see what my mean is. So I've already put the numbers in only to kind of save myself some time, because I can't record but a certain amount of time. So here are my numbers in L1. So I'm going to press stat, go over to calculate. I want one variable stats. And there's my mean, here's my sample standard deviation and my population standard deviation, and you see here that I had 40 data points. So what I want you to know here is this, that we can see the standard deviation for population, but usually you don't know that. You know what the standard deviation is for the sample. So I'm going to round off my standard deviation to 52.6. And I'm going to work this problem on the calculator, but I want to go back and tell you a couple of things. The sample standard deviation is 130.8, and so I use that for my point estimate for the mean number of friends that are going to use this website. Now, one thing I want you to know is we don't need point estimate if we're not doing this by hand. If you were doing it by hand, you would need that, but I don't need that in what we're going to do. And it says the probability that 130.8 is the exact population mean is virtually 0. So you're going to need to look for an interval around that point. And you'll use the margin of error, which we won't need because the calculator absolutely does it for us. If you were doing this by hand, you would need that. And all of this is taught to you in Chapter 6.1. And a confidence level to determine this interval. So I don't really need a margin of error. I don't really need a point estimate on the calculator. All I need is a confidence level. So the sample is considered large, so you can use the central limit theorem if you're doing that by hand. But that tells me also that the sample standard deviation is a good estimation to the population standard deviation. So I'm just going to use the sample standard deviation, which is 52.6. I'm going to go to stats, over to test, and I'm going to go down to Z interval, because what I'm doing here is the Z interval is also the one sample Z confidence interval. That's what it's called, and that's what I'm finding. So I'll select data because I'm going to have this data in L1, and you have numbers in list 1, and I'm going to press enter. Then I'm going to move down and enter all of these numbers here. I'm at the 95% confidence interval. That's what was given to me. So I'm going to go here to stat, and I'm going to go over to test, and number 7 is the Z interval, and I want data. I'm going to move it down. I've already put 52.6 in. That's my mean. List 1 stays, 1 stays. The confidence level that I want here is 95. I press calculate, and there it is. The interval that I'm going to use is 1.14.5 over to 147.1. Now this might be a little bit different from what it would be if you do it by hand. If my stat lab marks it wrong, just email it to me.